Whenever an issue flares up, there is always a hidden agenda behind it. A lot of times it is political, but sometimes the agenda is far more deeper. Let us talk about this entire Hijab Row. How did it all start? It all started when certain political outfits realized that there is a shift in what they believe to be their core vote bank towards another entity. In this case, they decided if it is starting with women, Muslim women, endorsing and backing and agreeing with the thought process of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and thereafter the BJP and aligning with them on causes, then we have a problem. Because we cannot allow the Muslim vote to slip away, especially in the North Karnataka region around Udupi, where the Kapu municipal body elections were up. So this entity decides, let's get into the campuses ourselves through our own campus front. There is a recruitment drive which happens, and suddenly, out of 90 odd Muslim students in a college, just 6 of them decide that they are going to push through the rules because they have been coached and told that there is nothing in the rule book that stops you from doing something which should be abhorred, rejected within the religion itself. That is to cover a woman up. Be it a hijab, a burqa, a niqab or an abaya. Nations across the world, especially Islamic nations across the world, are turning around and rejecting it as a regressive process which is not an essential part of Islam. It is something which talks about, the Quran talks about modesty. Modesty both for the man and for the woman. A prescribed behavior and attire, clothing is recommended. It is not mandated. It is not a pillar of the religion like kesh is as far as Sikhism is concerned. So the turban for the Sikhs becomes essential part of their practice. It is because it is to protect the kesh. It is to ensure that it is hygienic, it is protected, and because it is sacred. So when we come back to this, there is a political face-off and then it snowballs. Sadly, what should have been an intra-religion affair, that is, progressive modern Muslims standing up to these kind of regressive agendas, soon became a hijab versus Hindutva issue because Hindus in the region, again politically backed, turned around and said that if you are going to insist on wearing a hijab in a classroom, then we are going to insist that we will wear a saffron turban or a saffron shawl. So this is counter polarization that happened. Fundamentalism begets fundamentalism. This is something which the head of the ulema, the NU, in Indonesia has come out and said, and he used the Christchurch example in New Zealand, and he said that we've got to learn fundamentalism will beget fundamentalism. If Islam allows fundamentalism and also the Arabi version of Islam, which is the Salafi, Wahhabi sect and the Push, which is far more fundamental, then it will give rise to fundamentalism or once again orthodoxy, rise of orthodoxy within Christianity, within Buddhism, within Hinduism, because that is the reaction. The action will have a reaction. Ram Madhav, RSS leader, former National General Secretary of the BJP, also said the same thing. He said that this is because of the petrodollars coming into this region, that is Kerala from the Gulf. So Kerala and of course North Karnataka, coastal Karnataka, this region, that there is a rise of Arabi Islam or Arabization of Islam in our country. And that's why we see so many more women caged in burqas walking around, because that's what is mandated. You see so many more Muslim men wearing caps, beards, and this is an identity thing. This identity separates us from the rest. And this is something which is a Salafi Wahhabi push. Ironically, even Saudi Arabia is doing away with this. The King and Queen of Jordan, direct descendants of the Prophet himself, do not advocate for a hijab, burqa, niqab, etc. Indonesia has not mandated it. Tajikistan, 99% Muslim. The women don't cover their heads, cover their faces. They are there in the army too. Do we want a Talibanization of India? Why are these forces being allowed so much of space? Ram Madhav, while speaking to me, very clearly said that I blame the libtards, I blame the neoliberals, I blame them for standing up to regression or standing with regression rather than standing up to it, standing against it. I blame them for backing those elements who want to push fundamentalism into our society, something which is not our culture, something which is alien to our culture. So net, ladies and gentlemen, those 6 girls, they should have been advised, spoken up, and also counseled by the other 90 Muslim students that what you're doing is wrong. Their parents should have been counseled by the parents of these 90 families rather than making it a hijab versus Hindutva issue. It should have been intra-religion. It is important that the progressive, modern, forward-thinking Muslims of our country stand up to this kind of a regressive push, because this is dangerous. The ulterior motive here on the face of it may be political, but political Islam ended with Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And you know what that resulted in? Partition of our country, 35% of our land separated on the grounds of religion. What is now happening under these organizations is a larger hidden agenda of converting or changing the very inclusive nature of our country, of changing the very facet of our country. These elements were responsible for partition in the past. These elements now are using our very constitution and courts to try and control all of Bharat. We need to realize this, we need to stand up to this, but we need to be smart about this.